In the heart of 18th century Europe, a revolution was brewing. However, this was not a revolution of swords and battlefields, but a revolution of the mind. This would be the start of an entirely new way of thinking, a new way to view the world. Questions would be asked that hadn't been asked before, at least not on such a grand scale. Questions such as, what does it mean to truly think for oneself? Should you challenge the beliefs that have been handed down through generations? What happens when the light of reason pierces the darkness of tradition? But how did these thinkers challenge the authority of kings and the dogma of the church? How did they pave the way for modern democracy and individual rights? Join me as I explore these questions and ask, what was the age of Enlightenment? In the 17th and 18th centuries, exciting things were happening in Europe. Commonly believed to have begun in France, the Enlightenment rapidly spread across Europe, sparking a fresh era of rationality and advancement. Throughout this period, concepts concerning God, reason, nature, and humanity were merged into a widely embraced worldview, kick-starting revolutionary advancements in art, philosophy, and politics throughout the Western world. Art flourished during this period, as painters and composers sought to capture the essence of human emotion and beauty. As the middle class grew, so did art and music. Artists such as William Hogarth became known for their satirical and moralizing paintings, best known for his moral stories, often featuring a narrative across several scenes, such as in Marriage à la Mode or Harlot's Progress. His artistic style showed his skepticism of traditional authority and interest in social progress by keenly observing human behavior. Hogarth used his art not only to entertain but also to critique the societal norms and injustices of his time. Jean-Baptiste Siméon Chardin, a renowned painter of the time, captured everyday life with a sense of realism and depth, reflecting Enlightenment ideals of observation and naturalism. Similarly, François Boucher's paintings often depicted mythological and historical scenes with a sense of elegance and sensuality, reflecting the Enlightenment's interest in the classical world and human emotion. In music, composers like Franz Joseph Haydn and Mozart embraced the Enlightenment's emphasis on clarity and structure, creating symphonies and operas that reflected the era's intellectual curiosity. Haydn's compositions, such as his Paris symphonies, showcased a balance of form and expression, while Mozart's operas explored themes of social critique and human nature. These artists and musicians, through their works, not only reflected but also contributed to the intellectual and cultural landscape of the time. The Enlightenment saw societies and academies take the forefront of scientific research, largely replacing universities as the hubs of intellectual thought. Emphasizing empiricism and rationality, science aligned closely with the Enlightenment's ethos of progress and advancement. Throughout the 18th century, there were notable strides in medicine, mathematics, and physics, the emergence of biological taxonomy, fresh insights into magnetism and electricity, and the solidification of chemistry as a distinct field. During this time, scientists like Sir Isaac Newton emerged. Newton's work in developing the laws of motion and universal gravitation revolutionized our understanding of the physical world. Newton's emphasis on empirical observation and mathematical precision reflected the Enlightenment's focus on reason and evidence-based experiments, influencing his meticulous approach to scientific investigation. His masterpiece, the Philosophiae Naturalis Principia Mathematica, published in 1687, laid the foundation for classical mechanics and remains a cornerstone of modern physics. Antoine Lavoisier, known as the father of modern chemistry, exemplified the spirit of the Enlightenment through his meticulous experiments and development of the first comprehensive theory of chemical reactions. Meanwhile, Carl Linnaeus, a Swedish botanist, introduced the system of binomial nomenclature, a system of naming plants and animals in which each species is given a name consisting of two terms, the first being the genus and the second the species itself, such as Panthera tigris for a tiger. This revolutionized the classification of living organisms and reflected the Enlightenment's commitment to systematic knowledge. Joseph Priestley, an English chemist and philosopher, made significant contributions to the understanding of gases and the discovery of oxygen in 1774. These scientists, among others, exemplified how the Enlightenment fostered an environment where empirical observation and rational thought flourished, leading to profound advancements in various scientific disciplines. However, this scientific advancement didn't go unchallenged. The Enlightenment's embrace of reason and empirical theory often clashed with religious institutions, leading to significant pushback from the Church. Galileo Galilei's support of the heliocentric model, which placed the Sun at the center of the solar system, directly challenged the view held by the Catholic Church that it was the Earth that was at the center of the solar system. Galileo's advocacy for this model led to his condemnation by the Church in 1633, with his works being placed on the Index of Forbidden Books. Similarly, the Church opposed the ideas of Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Voltaire, and Denis Diderot, whose writings critiqued religious authority and advocated for secularism. The Church saw these Enlightenment thinkers as threats to traditional religious doctrine and sought to suppress their works through censorship and condemnation. This tension between Enlightenment scientists and religious institutions exemplifies the broader struggle between reason and faith during this period. These philosophers were profoundly influenced by the spirit of their era. Rousseau's essays *The Social Contract* and *Discourse on the Origin and Basis of Inequality Among Men* challenged prevailing ideas about government and society, advocating for a more just social contract between citizens and the state. Voltaire, known for his support for freedom of speech and religion, critiqued intolerance and injustice in works like *Candide* and his letters concerning the English nation. Denis Diderot, as editor-in-chief of the Encyclopedia, sought to compile and disseminate knowledge, promoting secular and rational thinking. John Locke suggested the theory of natural rights, asserting that individuals are entitled to life, liberty, and property. He also advanced the concept of the social contract, suggesting that legitimate government arises from an agreement among individuals to protect these rights. These thinkers were instrumental in shaping Enlightenment thought, pushing the boundaries of knowledge and advocating for a more even and enlightened society. Their words spread like wildfire, challenging monarchs and clergy alike. The ideas put forth by the likes of Rousseau, Voltaire, and Diderot were the start of significant changes in society. Their works contributed to the rise of democratic ideals and the eventual onset of revolutions that sought to establish more just and enlightened societies. This laid the foundation for modern liberal democracies. The Age of Enlightenment came to a head towards the end of the 18th century. In the American colonies, Enlightenment ideas fueled a growing discontent with British rule. Influential thinkers like John Locke provided intellectual ammunition for the colonists' demands for self-governance. The Boston Tea Party in 1773, a protest against the Tea Act, and the Declaration of Independence in 1776, with its endorsement of individual rights and freedom from tyranny, exemplified how Enlightenment philosophy shaped the American Revolution. In France, Enlightenment ideals challenged the absolute monarchy and the ingrained privileges of the nobility. The writings of Rousseau and Voltaire questioned the existing social order, leading to widespread calls for reform. The storming of the Bastille in 1789 marked the beginning of the French Revolution, fueled by demands for liberté, égalité, fraternité. Both revolutions were led by Enlightenment ideals of democracy, human rights, and the rejection of arbitrary authority, reshaping the political landscapes of their respective nations. The American Declaration of Independence and the French Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen were pivotal documents embodying the principles of the Enlightenment. These events marked a shift away from absolute monarchy towards representative government, constitutionalism, and the protection of individual freedoms, shaping the political landscape of the West for centuries to come. Did you find these insights into the Age of Enlightenment intriguing? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear which philosophies resonated with you the most during this era of great change. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe for more captivating explorations of Enlightenment thinkers and their ideas. There's plenty more to discover. And don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest episodes. Until next time, keep delving into history as you never know what you might uncover.